Greetings, WordPressers. In today's show, if you are thinking about making a WordPress website and you're considering throwing a little bit of Elementor action in there, then your life has just got a whole lot easier. JAKSON here. Welcome to the channel once again. My place on YouTube for all things WordPress and other web-related shenanigans. If you're new here, I do encourage you to subscribe and click the bell icon if you fancy a little bonus point from my good self. Anyway, what is this session about today? So you're thinking about making a WordPress website. Good move. Love a bit of WordPress. Possibly with a bit of Elementor thrown in. My absolute recommendation for anyone approaching building a website with WordPress in 2022 or probably for the last 3 or 4 years now. But sometimes there's another aspect which is often forgotten about, which is the setting it all up part before you can actually take your embryonic idea and throw your creative juices at it and create the website of your dreams. And that's the kind of the hosting and the setup and the configuration of the platform that you're going to use to actually build this wonderful website of yours on. But a couple of months ago, the Elementor team came up with something pretty special. Now, this is a kind of like, I want to call it like a hybrid kind of hosting solution for WordPress and specifically for Elementor. And so I've been taking a really deep dive into this platform over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it's very good. It's very good. And in this tutorial, I'm going to take you through pretty much all aspects of it. It's not strictly a sort of straight Elementor tutorial. I want to take you through the Elementor workflows, how this platform works, and a little bit of detail about how it all comes together from signing up through to launching your website. Now, this new platform from Elementor, the Elementor Cloud website, is basically a hosting service that comes pre-installed when you click I'll show you in a minute. When you click the button, it comes pre-installed with Elementor Pro, so you get all those features. It's completely configured for you, and this is literally with one click, by the way. And all the admin-y stuff that you have to do when setting up a new WordPress website, like installing the theme, installing WordPress, installing themes and installing plugins, configuring plugins, setting up an SSL certificate, sorting your CDN out, this kind of stuff. It's literally done for you. And here's the kicker. This premium WordPress hosting, hybrid hosting service is $99 a year. But it comes with Elementor Pro. Elementor Pro is normally $49 a year. So you're getting premium WordPress hosting for a mere $50 a year, $4 a month. And there's nothing on this, but nothing I know about that comes close to that sort of value with professional WordPress hosting. So in this review and tutorial, let me take you through the rather marvelous Elementor Cloud websites. So here we go with Elementor Cloud website platform. Just a quick recap of those features. The one we've really got to talk about again is this pricing. So Elementor Pro is $49 per year anyway. This quite extraordinary hybrid hosting solution brings everything together for $99 per year. So you're getting premium WordPress specialist hosting for $50 a year, $4 a month. That literally cannot be beaten by any WordPress specialist host on this planet. It's Google Cloud Platform. There's CDN. It comes with CDN out the box. That's a content delivery network. That means that your website visitor, wherever they are in the world, will be accessing like a local version on a server closer to them. So the speed optimization is there straight out the box. The bandwidth and the site visitors is easily equal to a medium tier hosting setup that you probably be spending at least $20 a month on, probably a bit more than that, if I'm honest. But let's talk about the actual real super benefit of this platform. It's the ease at which you can go from a completely standing start, no website, no nothing, and within a few moments have a complete environment set up for you to start building your website. Now, For me, bit long in the tooth these days with WordPress development, web development. But yeah, there's still a bit of a process. You fire up a server, you've got to install WordPress, you've got to install the SSL certificate, you've got to install your plugins, your themes. Literally a couple of clicks and this does it all for you. The barrier to entry is almost non-existent. And this is what I love about this platform. So let's take another look at some of these other features a little bit further down. And we see that we've got, of course, the editor. That's Elementor. Of course, we know we can do whatever we want with that, and I'll show you how you can quickly edit and manipulate pages with ease. The design features in Elementor are second to none. The responsiveness, the typography, the flexibility with layouts and all that good stuff. It really is a tool to be reckoned with. Now, the CMS tools, of course, is essentially WordPress. But the hosting admin dashboard has all the good stuff like backups and other crucial settings and all that sort of good stuff. The hosting, well, we've talked enough about that. SSL pre-installed, CDN pre-installed. You can bring your own custom domain in moments. But there is something else that stands out with this offering from Elementor, and that's the support. Now you see down at the bottom right hand side here we have a little chat icon. We pop that up and we can actually speak directly with Elementor support from within our hosting dashboard or from within WordPress itself. It's quite insane. I'll show you how that works a little bit later on as well. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is get back up to our main section, and all you need to do is get ready to cough up your $99 and click that buy now button. You'll be presented with a standard kind of checkout page. Fill in your details, splash your $99. I will see you on the inside for a quick review of the hosting dashboard. Okay, so once you've completed your purchase, you'll end up on this page. It's the Elementor dashboard, and you'll see a nice blue button here saying Create Cloud Website. Well, that's what we've just signed up for, so we're just going to click that. First stage is to give your website a name. Now, this is a temporary name until you bring in your own domain name. More about that a little bit later. Let's just call this JAKSON for now. Let's click next. And you'll see that this is the full domain that this site will be on until such times as you bring in your own real domain name. So you don't need a domain name to begin with. You can do that later, no problem. Okay, let's click the next button. Now we're going to be asked what kind of site we're going to be creating. It's not totally necessary to make this like compulsory decision right now, but we're going to be making a sort of business website, services style website. More about that in a second. And if we click next, we get on to the really interesting part. This is where you can choose a ready-made template, customize the heck out of it, and be launching your site in hours, not days. Now we're just going to clear this filter because it's filtering it on business and corporate. Now it's important at this point to have done a little bit of homework, and that little bit of homework is actually knowing what your site's going to be about. Now, for the exercise of this tutorial, I've decided to build a garden services website, and I'm going to take one of Elementor's ready-made kits that will deploy an entire website in just a few moments, and then I'm going to customize it, show you how to do that, to demonstrate just how unbelievably easy it is to go from nothing to a premium pro looking website, even if you have no idea pretty much what you're doing. All right, so like I said, it's good to do a bit of homework. Now, what I want for this gardening services website, the fictitious brief I've given myself is that it's got to be kind of quite a modern. It's it's going to be the Jamie Oliver of gardening websites, the Naked Gardener, that kind of vibe. So it's got to be modern. It's got to be quite square and blocky, and I want this to have a clean, contemporary feel. Now we've literally got more than 100 kits to choose from, and when we say kits, this is the whole shebang, and we'll talk about the different parts of the websites and how those kits all come together when we get into the editing part. So at this point, we're looking for something that fits the bill. Of course, I have studied these kits quite significantly, so I know which one I kind of know which one I'm looking for. You know, you take your time and review the kits. So if you see something you think, okay, that looks like quite a nice style, don't be put off by perhaps it's a different industry sector or different marketplace. Even if it's a shop and you're not having a shop, look at the kit, look at the aesthetic, and kind of get a feel for does it fit the vibe of the thing that you've got in mind. Because you can move stuff around, you can tweak stuff, change a few colors, possibly fonts, bring in your own images, and suddenly something that was a restaurant or a burger bar could be your hairdresser's website or your coffee shop. So take some time, study the kits. You can click on them and go and say, okay, what's inside? And then it gives you a little preview. But it's always best to jump over to the preview button, and then you get like the full website, and you can see that, okay, well, this is quite a fresh feel. Quite like this. Yeah, some icons in there. And remember, when you install this kit, you get everything. The headers, the footers, even the images and the blog posts, they all come in. But remember, you can tweak to your heart's desire and tailor it to your exact needs. So that's pretty cool. And also check it out. These kits come with the pop-ups that create a bit of marketing for you. Kind of don't have to think about anything with these quite extraordinary kits. Okay, let's close that up. And let's go back to all our kits. Now, like I said, I do know which one I'm looking for. So I'm just going to filter this on health and well-being, because the one I fancy is this fella here. Let's have a look at this. So again, go straight for the preview button. And you see it's kind of got that clean, blocky feel. Nice, modern, contemporary styling. It's got a services page, a blog, the contact page. It's got all the parts. So if we go back to the other tab, we can see that if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see that what's included on this. And you can kind of see what's included, because each kit has got various components. Now, most of them will have a header, a footer, some sort of pop-up subscription offer, that kind of thing, likely the contact and stuff. But some might not have a services page and what have you. But remember, you can take other designed pages, because they all come within this kit, and make a services page if it doesn't have one, because the design. So if you like the design, don't feel restricted by it not having a specific page that you want to create, because the beauty of Elementor is that we can just cut and paste parts, sections and whole pages to create the bespoke website structure that we actually need for our project. Okay, so I am happy with that. And just another quick note on the different parts of your website. Of course, you've got pages and you've got posts, for example, if you've got a blog, but there's also the global parts. And this is where the kit comes into its own, because it comes with the templates for the header, the footer, the blog page, the single page, even a 404 page, if someone types in a URL that doesn't exist. So it's a complete website ready for your customization. So I'm going to say, cool, I'm happy with this kit. Let's start with this kit. And you can see this just loading up now, and we're getting a little bit of feedback here where it's installing WordPress. It's getting Elementor and Elementor Pro installed. It's pulling in that kit and all those pages and settings and colors and fonts. So while you're sitting there doing nothing, Elementor's building your website. Nice, huh? Oh, and don't forget, there was something that I meant to mention when we were looking at kits. Elementor Kit Library comes with a ton of blank sites, if you like, you know, wireframe sites. So if you want to start from a completely blank canvas, it will build you a complete site structure with services and pages and blog pages and all that sort of stuff, and a completely ready-made wireframe blank site for you to go and customize in its entirety. And there we go. Ta-da! Your site is ready. How exciting. Okay, so that would have normally taken about, oh, I don't know, half an hour maybe to get a site ready to the point where you can start actually working with it. So let's go. Right, so there's a little bit of info here, but let's close that up because I'm going to take you through this. Right, here we are. We're on our website's dashboard. Remember that was empty before, and this is the regular Elementor dashboard if you've ever seen it before. And if you've got a Pro plugin and you've got other sites hosting it and you've linked it to your account, you'll see them here. Hosted by Elementor. Well, that's the one we just made. And before we dive in, let's take a look at the settings under the manage this website. Okay, so let's click that button. Here we have an overview of that particular website. Obviously you've got multiple websites on your account, you get a separate info page for each one. And you'll see, actually, if you go back to the start page, you see the site lock is on. Now, what this means is that no one can see your site. So you can build out your site, edit to your heart's content until you're ready to launch, and then you can unlock it and share it with the world. Let's get back to those manage this website page, and here we go. We can see that this site lock is on, and we can change that setting in due course, and we'll do that a little bit later. We've got a little bit more info about the site. There's our current domain name. So if we go and let's close that up, get a new tab, and we go and have a look at our site, we shall see that it's hidden. But we can look at it by grabbing the PIN number, which is over here, and checking it out over here and continuing. And we'll see that we have got a carbon copy of that template kit, that Elementor kit that we chose. And this is our home page. And we see we've got the other pages here and what have you. You see the blog's missing. I'll come back to that a little bit later on and explain how to get that blog back. There's our pop-up. There's our footer coming down. So we have a full site ready to get editing with. Right, let's close that up for now. So we also on the website info page, we've got a list of all the backups that are taken by Elementor Cloud once a day. There's also an initial backup that's created when you first create the site. And you can use these backups to jump back in time if ever you need to restore a previous version. There's also some debugging tools if you're a bit more on the dev side of things, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So let's get back to our website page and let's dive in. Now you've got two options here. You can go to the WordPress dashboard, or you can just literally dive straight in and start editing with Elementor. Let's go with the Let's Get Editing option. Here we go. So you click that and you will get directed to the home page, and this is where the fun begins. Now, if you've never worked with Elementor before or WordPress, I'm going to try and keep this concise, but I'm leaning more towards how it all works with Elementor, so you can also follow along and get stuck into some editing straight away. Now we're going to come back to the navigator. I'll close that up for a second, and you can see here that we do indeed have our home page and all the parts. Now, remember we're building a gardening services website, so we're going to have to start thinking about what that looks like. Now, the first thing we need to do is change the logo. So that's a cinch with Elementor. You click on the hamburger menu on the left, and you go to your site settings. Open up site identity, and here we can choose an image for our logo. Now, we can either upload a logo file or we can choose it from the library. Now, because this is a kit, it's only got the images that came with it. So that was the actual original logo. So we're going to have to go and get our logo for this project. I've done a little bit of homework. You should do too. You need a logo, an icon, and you need some lovely pictures to go with it. So let's go get our logos and icons. We're going to put those in there, and you see them uploading now. And our garden services company is called Clearview Gardens. We're going to insert that media as our site logo. And we're also going to go grab our icon, and that will then become our icon for the site. That's the little thing you'll see up here in a minute. And also we can use it elsewhere where necessary. We'll click update on that, and we'll go back to our editor. Now we may need to give this a little bit of a refresh. Yeah, let's give that a little refresh. And we see we do indeed have our new logo up there. Okay, so we're in business already. The next thing I thought in respect to this kit, switch around a little bit of the colors and a few of the fonts, get our text in, and obviously the images and stuff like that. So with being a garden orientated site, we're going to change the colors change some of the background colors. And again, with Elementor and Elementor Kits, this is all done again in the site settings. So if we go to site settings, we see we have global colors, and you see that we have some system colors. These are sort of the standard stuff, but then there's these custom colors, and you see here we've got a background color. Now this color here is this sort of very, very light brown. And if we click on that, we can change the color. And given that we want it somewhere, we want it sort of green or greenish, we're gonna try and get the same sort of vibe, but just kind of more greeny. And I think that's okay. Let's update that. Let's close that up. Now you see that this this background here is actually the same BG, and there's a little quirk in Elementor sometimes where we just need to go reset that manually because it hasn't kind of picked it up. So you remember the navigator from earlier on. If you right click, you can choose it there, or you can choose it by clicking there. Now this allows you to go and select sections, and on that hero section there is a background styling, and you can find the styling for most elements, be them sections or columns or the widgets themselves, on the style tab on the left hand side. And you see that this is saying it is actually green. I just need to reset that because it just needed a little nudge there. Let's update that. Cool. Okay, now let's talk about some wordings. Now we're not a nutrition, we'll close up the navigator again. We're not a nutrition company, we are a garden services. We just need to get our own text into this box. And you see when you click on an element, the left hand side gives you the options for that particular element, and this being a heading, we can just paste in our text, and that's cool. Now when I was reviewing the kit, and this, you should do this too, is to, like I mentioned before, you're not constrained by the fonts or the colors. Given the kind of vibe I want for this website, I think a slightly fatter, blockier font for these headlines might be a good idea. So if we go back to our site settings, and you see we've got another global section for fonts, and we see here that our primary hero main title, that's this fella here, main title areas, we can go in and edit that, and we see that pretty much the entire site is using the DM Sans font. Now I particularly thought Poppins would be a great option for this, and you see that it's a bit chunkier, a bit more square, and so that's great. Now we can also just change, maybe what I think this should be on one line, so let's knock that back to so it's on one line, 54. And also the line height, that's the space between the text if it was going across multiple lines. So if you close that up a little bit as well, then that looks cool. And you can see that this has changed, this one has changed as well, so all good. We simply just update that, get back to our editor, give that a little update. Okay, so new garden project ready to go. Right, next up, well, we're not selling fruit and veg. Grow some if you like, we can grow some for you, but let's get our column which contains this background image, this broccoli and avocado and stuff. Let's change that image to something that we've chosen for, that represents our brand, our website. So let's click on that. Now we want to upload another bunch of images, so I've got some here. So I'm going to drag in all the images that I've selected for the site, and so let's choose one of those bad boys for our hero image. Let's choose this nice little flowery one here. So we'll insert that, and there we go. We're starting to get a bit more gardeny. Now you see on this homepage we do have a call to action here for this book an appointment. I'm gonna rather than an appointment, I'm gonna call that book a free consultation. And that is actually going to go to our contact us page, and you'll see actually when the kit's been brought in, it's actually pointing to the original Elementor template library page. So we just need to clear that link out and start typing in contact, and that will be going to our contact page. Now you can see that in the bottom left, that is now going to the correct page. So update that. Obviously I'm not going to go and change all every part of the text, or just the main bit so you can get a flavor for it. Okay, so quite happy with that, apart from I think that should say starts today, shouldn't it? Okay, right. Now, you may have noticed that as you glide around, you see that this part here is not actually editable. You can't edit anything here. That's because it's the header. It's one of those global parts, part of the kit. But you can, on this very same page where you can edit this page content, you can click the edit header and you get switched over to editing the header. First thing I'm going to do is just drag this wider so that this is more like 30%, around about that. And I want to get this logo. This is our site logo widget. We want to make that a little bit bigger because we want it just to stand out just a touch. Maybe that's a bit too big. Maybe around about that. And the other thing with this header is that it's sticky. You see how it sticks as you scroll down the page. I don't think that's necessary for this page, and there's a bit of a debate with sticky menus. But for this design, I think, given the sort of height of the header, I'm going to make that non-sticky, and that's quite easy to do. We just can go to the section, which is the header part, section part entirely. If we go to the advanced tab, we can turn off that stickiness in the motion effect. So we're going to take sticky and turn it to no, and that way it doesn't stick anymore, and the user can just scroll through. Okay, good stuff. Let's update that. Now, next up, we're going to change a little bit about this Amber, who's nothing to do with Clearwater gardening. And so we'll start by, we need to get back to editing the page. So we'll click that edit page button and we are back to editing the page. So let's have a scroll down to Amber, and we'll just change this for modern temporary gardens. And again, obviously all the text you can change as you like. I'm just going to change this link to more about us, or maybe just about us. And of course we need to change this image on the left here, which is actually a background image on this column. You see how I'm hovering over it and go to the style and you tab, and we can just choose a different image, maybe one of those ones that we've just brought in. Let's get a nice toolish one with a bit of garden action going on. Perfect. Okay, just don't forget, when you're changing the link, when you're updating links, remember this is coming in from our Elementor Kit. Let's just clear that out and put in a bit of text, and then we can actually put the correct link on there. Update that. Okay, second section is done. Okay, so results that last. You're going to get great results with Clearwater gardening, but let's change that to our services. And again, it starts to make sense. We're tweaking, we're adjusting for our needs. Now with these feature sections here, these little icons and headings and stuff, we're actually going to make these the services that we offer for our gardening website. So if we click on here, you can go off and you can find some amazing icons, paid and free, all over the place. But I'm actually just going to delete that icon and instead go grab an image so that we can keep this moving along really fast. We're going to change that into a custom size. WordPress creates sizes, standard sizes by default, but the great thing about Elementor Pro images is that you can actually choose what sizes your image are for that particular space, regardless of what size was uploaded, you know, landscape, portrait, etc. So let's make this 400 by 300 and we'll apply that. And then we'll just go pick an image, and this will be for perhaps one of our services, which we will jump down here and just quickly change that to general garden maintenance. Cool. And so we'll just list out the services here. Let me go and copy that image, and I'm going to drop it, paste it right on top of there, move it up here. We're going to do the same with this icon box and actually get rid of the icons. We don't need that. We're going to change the image to some flowers. We'll insert that and call that garden design. And then we just repeat that a few times. Paste that in there. Move him above. Change the image. Again, remove that, and we'll call this plant and flowers sales. Okay, moving along. Copy that, paste it in there. Oh, just got to move him up there. Let's make that one in there. Let's call this, let's get rid of him and call this tree and hedge cutting. Okay, cool. So we now got our services listed. Obviously, we go in there and add a bit of info and all the rest of it, etc. So here we got our all services button. And again, we're just going to change that to the real link that is now in the website. Let's click on that and that's good. Okay, so what my clients say. Now here we go. Section 3 done. So what my clients say, yeah, that seems pretty okay. Obviously we'd go in there and we'd open up these slides and we change the content for one of our devoted customers, and we see we can add multiple testimonials there and they cycle around, etc. Now here on the right, you see this column. Just going to highlight that. If we go to the style tab for that, you see that not only can we have background colors or background images, we can actually have a slideshow. So there's the background image or color. We could have a gradient color if required, but Elementor's great at sneaking in these little features where it's a little slideshow, and you see that we can click on that and edit the slideshow. So we're going to get rid of all this quite delicious looking smoothie action, and we're going to click add to gallery. So we'll go grab a few images, select which ones we want, add to gallery, insert gallery, and there we go. We've got something a bit more in keeping with the gardening vibe. Okay, next up, oh, don't forget to click your update button. Always essential. Now this section here was about the as seen in, so it's a bit of kind of like press, press marketing, what have you. I don't think this site needs that on this homepage, so I'm actually going to click the little X and that actually gets rid of it. And when we're straight onto the nutrition and health blog, it's not nutrition, it's a gardening blog. So let's change that. Well, actually make it gardening and landscaping. Cool. We see on the right here, now on the demo, you may recall seeing a couple of the blog posts. Now, when the kit comes in, it doesn't keep some of the tags that were applied to the blog post. And this is where this element here is a post display widget, if you like. And we see that it's going to show 2 blog posts in 2 columns. And the reason it's not showing is that this part here where it says query is saying bring in posts based on what they've been categorized as. And if we just untick everything, and I'm sure that the Elementor team will sort this out in due course, we'll see that we do indeed have 2 of our posts, one of which is the default Hello World post, which doesn't have an image. So we'll come back to that in a second. The other thing that it hasn't got is a blog page currently, and I'll come back to that in a second. But that's essentially that part sorted out again. Now the thing with this section here is it's quite high, and we see that the reason for that is that it's got a minimum height set to it. Now I'm going to change that to default so that it doesn't have this minimum height, and we're just going to click update. But you see we're marching along now. We've actually taken all the content of the page, we've updated our header, we've got content images, and we've changed the font. We've kind of made it our own, and all that's left now for this page is the footer. And you see, in the same way as we did with the header, if you click the edit footer, it switches it over to the footer, and now we can start on this. So let's highlight that section, and as before, it's got a background image. Let's get that to one of ours. I think we're going to put in this one of the nursery, and we're going to change that to New Beautiful Garden. And we'll just change that to contact us. And check the link is correct onto the contact page. And again, down the bottom here, we've got this little icon that was Amber's little icon. We can change that to ours now. Remember, we had that from before. And you change the text here. You can add your links to the social icons. If you don't have Twitter, delete Twitter. If you don't have Instagram, etc., put in your address or remove it completely if you don't want that on there. Same with phone numbers and email. And of course, you would change things like the other text where necessary. And we press update, and that is essentially it. That's how easy it is to take a template kit and switch it up, change some color, some fonts, some images, some icons, and you've pretty much got a fairly different site. So if we hit that hamburger menu over here again and we go to view page, this is a very top tip for working with Elementor without having to go to the WordPress backend, but Be careful, I'm coming to that in a second. You see now that we're viewing the page, but kind of we're logged in, so we've got the WordPress admin bar at the very top here. Brilliant thing with Elementor, with viewing it like this, is that you could then jump to the about page, and you see it's obviously still the page that was brought in with the kit, but then we can just jump straight in with edit with Elementor, and we're on that page. So it's a real, I mean, it is a really top tip. It's to allow you to sort of jump around your site, get editing pages. Let's do a very quick edit on that. Let's get the navigator up again, our heroes section. Let's get that image changed. Amber again. We might go and change that homepage picture. But yeah, I think this is cool. This cooler. Let's just knock the navigator away. I think that's cooler. And then you start the process again. Hi, I'm Amber Stewart. Hi, we're Clearwater Gardening. And then we can go in here, change our quotes, change our images again. All the stuff we just did on the homepage, and you can see how super simple that is. We'll just update that and then go view page, and then we'll view page, and then we have it. About us. I mean, I'd probably look at perhaps bringing this text up a little bit so that the hero isn't quite as all-encompassing, or you can see a bit more of the hero on smaller screens. Let's just do that quickly so you know what I'm talking about. So this section here, you see how it's being pulled above the background image here. That's because on the advanced settings here, it's pulling it up by putting a thing called negative margin. It's like negatively going upwards above where it should theoretically sit on the page. So if we make that 3 or even 400, now you see how that is now a bit more obvious when you hit the page. So I'm liking that. So let's update that. Let's go view the page. And I think that's a little bit more obvious for the user when they hit the page. Like I said, when you're viewing pages, you get to navigate. So do the about page, and then you'd go to the services page, hit the edit with Elementor, etc., etc., the contact page, change the images, change the text, and away you go. Now, also when you're viewing the pages in this mode, you can actually hover over edit with Elementor, and you can actually edit other things. So let's just jump back to the home page here. Now, if you recall, there was a pop-up, remember? Now, the great thing about using this sort of front end view like we've got here to jump around and edit stuff is that you can get to all those parts really quickly. So if you click this button here, you edit the page. If you look further down, you can see you can go edit the footer, the header, but also this subscription pop-up. So if you wanted to, in the same vein, just jump over to that, do the editing in exactly the same way, change the text, the images, and all that jazz, then you can. And wherever you see a form or whatever, it's just another widget, and you just simply click on the form, change the stuff on it, add an extra field if you want to, all that good stuff. Let's go back to where we were. Right. Thus far, we have only really been looking at Elementor and the front end way that you can dive around and edit pages and jump in and out and all that sort of stuff. It actually sits on top of WordPress, as you are aware, and there is still the WordPress admin to think about, which we haven't touched yet. And this is, for me, this is part of the gold, is that you don't necessarily have to get bogged down with all the admin stuff to begin with. You will need to do a bit of that eventually. So let's go to our menu and go to the dashboard and the admin dashboard. And as it would happen, it looks like a very familiar WordPress admin dashboard, even though we haven't seen it yet. And there's only a couple of things that aren't standard on here. One is this Elementor panel here, and we can actually just toggle that on and off by clicking that on and off. You might want to leave it there with quick links to other stuff, but it functions exactly the same way as a normal WordPress panel, dashboard panel. You've got some another couple of Elementor specific panels below it, which are pretty decent way to jump around the site on the admin side of things. So you can go to your Elementor account dashboard, jump around, and all that sort of good stuff. There is one item on the admin left-hand menu. This activity log, which just shows a list of actions by the users, but useful. Who's been mucking up your site, that kind of thing. But the rest of it is very standard. We've got the Elementor settings and pages and all the rest of it. Remember, we haven't actually had to come and do any of this stuff because it was all done for us, and we can access pretty much everything from the Elementor interface on the editing and the front end, which for me is super cool. Now with the Elementor Cloud, It works exactly the same way as any WordPress installation. You can add plugins, you can add different themes if you want, you can go to the settings page and update stuff like that as you would normally do. But if we go back to the site itself, remember we can do all that using the Elementor menus. We don't need to get bogged down. We can go to site settings and go to our site identity and change our site name to what it should be and all that juicy stuff. And this is what, you know, I mean, this is not strictly part of the cloud stuff, but essentially it is, it's the Elementor workflow, which kind of works for me. And what I've found with my clients is it really works for them as well, not having to get bogged down all that admin stuff. There is some sort of bits and pieces that you'll have to get your head around. But if you recall, remember that messenger chat box? Well, check this out. Let's go edit with Elementor. Now, I don't know if any of you eagle eyes folks have seen, it's still there. So whatever you're working on, wherever you are on your site, you can jump in and start a conversation, and the team is there to help and guide you through your website build and any questions you may have. Fantastic stuff. Let's get back to where we were. So just going back to the admin, like I said, there are a few slight differences. Nothing. This is not a WordPress takeover by Elementor. They've added the stuff that is useful to you where you might need it. There are some plugins that aren't compatible. Well, they say aren't compatible, but can't be used, as well as incompatible. But everything from WooCommerce to all the Elementor add-ons, you can just pile as many as you like in there, no problem. Okay, so what if you want to add new stuff like new pages, new posts, that kind of thing? Super simple. Couple of options here. We could actually use the WordPress admin menus to go page, add new, or we can use my favorite method, which is actually the Elementor Finder. Now, if you press Command or Control E, you get the Elementor Finder. Now, with this wonderful tool, you can start typing in new. You say add new page. Okay, great. Let's add a new page. And you see we kind of get a bit of a blank page. We're going to just check the settings and call this, maybe we have some events or something like that we want to create a page for. We're going to put the page layout as a Elementor full width layout, and we can start adding content. This is not a full-on tutorial about Elementor and adding content and different content types and widgets and all this sort of stuff. But if you want to make a page quickly, it's pretty simple with Elementor. If we go to one of our existing pages, say our About page, and we go to edit that page, we're going to call up our handy navigator. We're going to go, right, I'm going to right click on my hero section and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to my new page and I'm going to paste that in, and look how quickly we can start editing stuff. Right, we're going to change that image. Let's just get something else in there. We're going to go back to our About page. We're going to grab that other section, copy that, paste that in straight underneath there. We're going to change that to events. Delete that, start putting in whatever we like. We could add a gallery, we can add text and all the multitude of widgets that are available with the standard Elementor and the Elementor Pro features which the cloud comes with. All sorts of content types, so you can start getting in your event information or whatever it is you fancy. Event 2, etc., etc. See how quickly you can start creating events. Okay, need a bit more space under that. Let's go to the Advanced tab. We're going to uncouple the margins, zero them out, and add a bit of margin to the bottom of there. And away we go. We click Publish, and say we want to get, now we need to get that on our menu. Remember Control E, Command E? Just head over straight to the customizer. Go to our menus, our main menu, and we'll add our new events to it. Now remember, we had an issue with the blog page not showing when it was imported. Now this is that was actually, I think that's a little glitch with this particular kit, and I'm sure Elementor team will get that sorted out. But say we actually want to add a page called blog. We're going to get rid of that one and swap it with that one. And now we're going to just quickly nav back to our customizer main menu, and on our homepage settings, we see we've got our homepage set as the page that's created called home, and we're just going to change our post page, so our blog page, to the new blog page that we just created. And look, bang, it's up there. Blogs there, events there. I think we want to move contact back to the end though. Let's get back to our menus. Main menu. Let's get contact at the bottom there. We'll publish that. We'll close that up. And there, everything's looking sweet. Let's get back to the front view page to review. And now let's have a look at our blog page. And because the kit comes with a blog page template, it's called an archive template, it automatically assigns our blogs. But I can see that there's an issue with this because it's not actually showing any of the blogs. So let's jump into the edit this page with Elementor. And this page is the post archive page. So let's just jump on there and see what's up with that. Well, we see here that this little box here is our edit post list. Remember, we saw that on the home page. And again, what we've got to do now is just check the query and get rid of all the query, and we'll see that we've got our post there. But we still got the hello world. That's the post that's created when WordPress is installed. So let's go and delete that quickly, and then we'll have a decent blog page. So we're going to go to the dashboard. Remember, Control E, Command E, dashboard. Let's go to dashboard. We'll go to our posts, and we'll just delete that. We'll put that in the bin, that one. Let's go look at our site again. Let's go to our blog. And there's our blog, a little bit prettier with that hello world gone and all our new blog posts. If we want to add a new blog post, we simply go new post. And this is where we can use the default WordPress editor for posts, because we've got a post template that's coming with the kit as well. So we don't have to worry about the design for posts. It's already made. So let's just make a quick post. And then we would add our content. Oh, don't forget to add a featured image. Let's just throw our image in there. We'll update that, preview that in a new tab, and we have our blog post. Of course, you can add what you like as far as the content goes, because the WordPress editor is pretty decent. It's not as good as Elementor, obviously, but for posts, for text and blog post content, it's super perfect. So there you go. I'm impressed. WordPress, Elementor, and Elementor Cloud. It's a wonderful combination. Well, a little lengthier than I was planning, but there's so much good stuff to tell you about this new offering from Elementor and the team over there. Please do get busy in the comments. I'm going to try and sort of keep this topic going a little bit. I think it's a great offering that they've done for anyone that wants to get a WordPress website up and running in double quick time. And I'm a bit of a fan of this type of no barrier solution for building WordPress websites. But anyway, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you're thinking. Are you a fan? Any upsides, downsides that you can think of? Do let me know. But until next time, I shall see you later.